Welcome everyone. I think we're live. I'm Ikansh and I'm here with Agora to talk about the UIKits. I'm so excited to be here. Not long ago, we were on the other side where I think we were in second year at VIT and we were hosting the first edition of Women Techies. And it was just the most wonderful hackathon that we've organized in our time there. And I'm so excited to be here back again, like after completing our graduation. It's wonderful to just get back on stage and talk about things that we built with Agora, and we're super excited to see what how you guys take that in, and we'd love to get feedback. And we'd be here. There's a Discord community. Or you can join there, and we can like talk about Agora, talk about hackathons, and talk about women techies. So without wasting much time, I'll hand it over to Meher to just talk about Agora, give you an understanding of what we do, and then we can take up the UI bits.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ikansh. As Ikansh rightly mentioned, Ikansh and we both have been ex-members of GDSC. And now, from GDSC, this transition to Agora has been an amazing journey for us up till now. And right now, on the other side of the screen, we will be talking about the UI kits from Agora that we ourselves have developed up till now. And with this particular solution that has been developed, we first of all need to start with the basic crux of it, and starting with basically what is Agora. So just to understand what exactly is Agora, let's try to draw a comparison between the public internet and the Agora SDK, or the Agora network actually. So as we all know, public internet is built like a web. You send out a particular message, it gets delivered to the other user via a web of networks. So it goes from point A to point B to point C and then reaches the receiver. And this is basically how the public internet works. Whereas for Agora, it's something built like a server to the user connection, where the Agora servers are spread across the globe, and you send out the data streams such that we receive no network loss, no jitter, or something like that. So that's exactly what's bring us to the advantage of using the Agora platform, that you don't get any packet loss, jitter, delay, latencies, and at the same time, you can support large channels and have scalability in your video calls. So, with that being said, Agora provides an RTE platform. So, what exactly is RTE? So, RTE means real time engagement, where you don't only just engage in terms of voice calling or video calling or simple messages, but you have a shared context. So, just to give you an example, once all our colleges were virtual, we were using some software which had something like a whiteboard. So that whiteboard was the shared context between the teachers and the students, where the teachers could write something on that, and at the same time, the students could interact with it. So that is what shared context is, and that's what RTE is. So voice, your video, your messages, and a shared context, all this inclusive, adds up to RTE. Now, moving on to what exactly are the possibilities of the RTE platform. Now, over here, I'm just going to run through few of the use cases or certain sectors, business sectors actually, where Agora SDK has been used up till now. So starting off with virtual office, which has been a huge buzz right now in terms of how you connect with your employees or colleagues. So with these kind of applications, one big thing is that you need to have scalability, you need to have high interactivity, and with all these things offered, you build an application which is suitable for virtual office. Secondly, we have teaching. So this is something that I believe we all have experienced over here. So having interactivity, having whiteboards, having screen sharing capabilities, all that stuff makes a perfect teaching application. Moving on to the event management. So again, something what we are doing at this point itself, having a virtual event where we have complete interactivity in terms of we like us sharing a video, sharing our screen, and at the same time, you guys being able to communicate with us via the chat. So all these things makes up a good event management platform. And finally, the most exciting one and the most trending one is the VR AR, where it brings the engagement, to the next notch. So how it does is, it's basically you have the context, the shared context that I talked about, into a complete 360 view. So the room that you're in, that's basically the whole context with you. Your whiteboard just got transformed into a whole classroom, and that's what the advantage of VR AR platform is. And with all these examples being kept aside, this was just to give you an idea of what are the possibilities that you can do with the Agora SDK. And with the upcoming slides, we will be showing you how the Agora solution, or how the Agora UI kits that we have developed can be used to add these kind of solutions in a quick and an easy manner. So with that being said, I'll hand over the mic to Ikansh to talk about that.
Awesome. Thanks, Maya, for the virtual mic. Again, so before we jump into like what the UI kit is, I think it's important to understand why we developed UI kits. So we talked about like building things for events, building things for teaching, building things for multiple use cases. But if you notice, a lot of them have similar features. Like obviously there'll be some sort of a layout where you'd see the people on the call. So in this scenario, there's three of us with a screen, for example. You would want to show people joining the screen whenever someone new joins the channel, things like that. So all of these have these same features that developers would waste effort on rebuilding for each application. And we thought we could do better. So if we can go to the next slide, we'll see there's a bunch of lines in the background which are very hard to read. But the idea is when you're building a real-time engagement app, Agora provides you with great SDKs that make it really simple without having to worry about the network layer. But even still, we thought that you can do better than having 400 or 500 lines just to get started. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that we have this 3-line snippet, and that's all the code you need to write to get started with the Agora SDK today. So in the first line, we have the Agora UIKit being imported from a package, and then we just define a component with our app ID and channel, and then we just render that component. That's all you have to do. And we're going to talk about a few platforms like web, React Native, Flutter, and Android, and show you exactly how easy it is to get the UI kit working. If you go to the next slide, you can see exactly what it looks like. So this is the example for React Native. And I think I have another picture of what the web UI kit looks like as well. Awesome. So as you can see, the code is exactly the same for both React Native and web. So I'm just going to talk about web here, and almost everything that I say is going to be exactly the same when you're building this for React Native. So like, if you have any questions while we're talking about the UI kits, please feel free to like drop a comment. And towards the end of the session, we'll probably spend a few minutes to just go through your questions, and maybe we can talk about some things that you're interested in about the UI kits. Maybe if we can go to the next slide, I think it's the demo slide. Cool. So I'll quickly share my screen, and so about that, and we can start coding and see exactly what the UI kit looks like in action. Is my screen visible? Maybe if you can double check for me, that would be great.
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. So I have a simple Hello World application written in React, and this is what it renders right now. Just basic boilerplate Hello World application, just to show you that this is all being rendered. I changed the text, and we see Hello Women Techies. So this might look like magic, but just hang on and give me like just a minute. So we import the UI kit as I talked about from our library. We render a new React component, and we pass in a few props to our component. So the first thing that we need is an app ID. You can get this from the Agora console. We'll get links to the Agora console in the chat. So you can obtain an app ID, which is your app identifier from the Agora console when you create a new app. The first 10,000 minutes are free, and you don't have to worry about adding a credit card or anything like that. It's all free to get started. Next thing we need is a channel. So people on the same channel can communicate with each other. So for example, if you have multiple live streams in your application, each of them will be a unique channel, and people in the same channel can communicate with each other. So I think you see the console link on our live stream now. So it would be great if you can just take a second to sign up, create a new account, and as soon as I hit save, we should see myself, and we basically have a video call. And let me open up a new tab just to show you that it does. Oops, let's see yourself. Yep, and that's two tabs talking to each other. You can change the layout. You can send requests to mute the other person. You can obviously toggle your videos, audios, things like that. All the basic features you'd expect from a video call is inbuilt. You can pass in usernames, and you can do a bunch of cool things with the UIKit. So I'll stop sharing my screen right here, and we can go back to the slides. Awesome. I'll quickly just check if there's any questions. Cool. So I think we can go to the next slide, and hopefully you're convinced that it's easy to get started and you can build cool websites and cool applications just by writing 3 lines of code. But it doesn't stop there. What we're really excited to tell you is that you can make the entire experience of the video call or the live stream exactly your own. So you can pass in props to customize the functionality of your video stream. So for example, what I showed you was a video call sort of example. You can convert that to a host audience, example super easily without writing any extra code. And what's even cooler is you can pass in simple CSS to your JavaScript, and you can customize the overall look and feel of the user interface. So if I go to the next slide, let's take a look at how that's done. So this is the snippet that we had from our example. Next slide, please. So if you add in mode set to live broadcasting and you set the role to broadcaster, you have a live stream. That's those 2 lines change everything internally and give you a live stream scenario. So if you pass in the role as a host, you can see them and interact with them as a broadcaster, I mean, or if you pass that as an audience, we can only view and passively, take in the stream, but they wouldn't actually engage with anyone else on the call. Next slide, please. Agora uses tokens to secure your communication, and with the UIKits, using tokens is super easy. So you can just pass in a token URL from a pre-deployed link. It's super easy to just deploy it using 2 clicks with Heroku, or you can pass it if you already have that infrastructure set up. You can pass in your token as well. Next slide, please. That's covering sending data from your application to the UIKit to customize it. But what if you want to get data back from the UIKit? So for example, if there's a user who mutes their microphone, you might want to display a toast in your application that says, hey, your mic is muted. All you need to do that is the UIKit exposes multiple callbacks. So there's one called local mute audio. It gives you a mute parameter, and you can just render a toast with that value. And yeah, you have two-way data binding without any extra JavaScript. Next slide, please. So talking about customization, this is the React Native app that you see just coming out of the box experience that comes with the React Native UIKit. And if we go to the next slide, we'll see how on the right, there's a completely different app. It might look like a separate thing, but it's just using the UIKit with a bunch of CSS written on top to override the styling that you see in the code snippet. So it's all your basic React Native styling, like border radius, width, height, background color, simple properties you would know. And you can just override a bunch of features. For example, if you want to change the icon size, there's a property for that. You just update it, and yeah, you can customize the layout. If you go to the next slide, we'll see like a bunch of things that are created with the UIKit. There's like a grid layout. There's one which resembles like a pinned layout. There's another grid. There's one without the controls. You can go wild, do whatever you want. We give you full freedom to customize exactly everything that you might need. If you go to the next slide, we have Meher to talk about the Flutter UIKit, and mostly whatever I've covered with the UIKits in general follows across to all platforms. Just that each platform has its own like specific things to make it easier for that particular user experience and that particular developer experience. And I'll hand it back to Meher to talk about Flutter.
Awesome. Thank you, Ekansh. So yeah, as Ekansh rightly mentioned, everything in terms of the UI kit is similar. So the callbacks that you receive, the kind of customizations that you can make, the methods that you can add, everything flows the same way across every single platform that you are using, be it Android, Flutter, React Native, Web, or iOS. So it's completely up to you which platform you choose, but the end goal that you will be having or the end result that you will be having will be the same. So with that being said, let's hop onto the Flutter UI kit and see what exactly we are getting into. So with the Flutter SDK, what you have is basically a bunch of code given on the left hand side. And what essentially the Flutter UI kit does, it just takes two simple lines of code where it declares an Agora client with the connection data properties that Ekansh mentioned. And after that, just initializes it inside the init method. And with that being done, your UI kit is all set and you're good to go to add the layout. Uh, Sorry. Yeah. So with for the layout, we have two particular elements or two particular widgets that the Flutter UI kit offers. The first one being the Agora Video Viewer, and the second one is the Agora Video Buttons. So as the name suggests, Agora Video Viewer is for all the classes or all the video users that are present inside the call. And Agora Video Buttons is for all the buttons that are present inside a video call or a live video streaming platform. So, and both these widgets are completely customizable. So all the methods that's available inside a particular widget is extended so that you can make any kind of customization that you want to. So let's take an example of what it exactly looks like. So when you start your Flutter UI kit, this is how it looks like. You have a grid view of the two users, and at the bottom, you'll see the buttons are added on the stack. So videos, and on top of it, the buttons are added. So let's go ahead and see the customizations that's offered. And these are just the top customizations or just few of the customizations that are offered by the UI kit. There are a ton of customization that I could even add to this particular slide. So just counting few of them would be in terms of the layout, the two most popular layouts that's available across any kind of video calling or real-time engagement platform is the grid layout and the floating layout. So the main advantage of the floating layout is that it automatically adds the active speaker or the person who is speaking in the channel to the main screen itself so that you don't have to pin the user every single time. Then the second thing is that you can customize the layout shape, size, where it exactly is located. So all this kind of stuff that can be done. Also, you can change how the disabled video widget looks. So what that means is if I turn off my camera at this point, how will the video or how will the video call change? If I need to show something at that point, what should be shown? So all that stuff can be done with that. And also you have easy state management for your audio and video states. So let's say if I mute my microphone or if some remote user mutes their microphone, a microphone state and a camera state will be added to their video screen so that you always know who is muted and who has disabled their camera. And finally, you also get a user count inside a channel so that if you are hosting a particular video or a demo, you can see what kind of interaction you are having. So this is what the floating layout looks like. As I was saying, the main user or the active speaker is pinned in the middle, and all the other users are displayed at the top, or all the remote users are displayed at the top. And then to customize your layout, you simply have this particular layout is simply a container. So a container can be given a certain height, a width, some padding, and that's exactly what we have done over here. So we have changed the height, width, and padding over here. so as to change the whole application in itself in terms of the layout. And these customizations help a lot when you're making your own RTE application, because it gives you your personal touch to the application. So that personal touch is something that actually makes or breaks a particular RTE platform. So this is what the disabled widget looks like. On the left hand side, we have the default disabled video widget, and I have just simply customized it to a simple red container that says custom disabled widget. So moving on to the next part, we have audio video state and number of users. So to do that, we have two simple Boolean variables that needs to be added to the Agora video viewer class. And if you do that, if you see over here at the bottom, on the particular user itself, there will be a video state and the microphone state. And over here, somewhere on the top right, you'll see the number of users present in the channel. And with that kind of customizations being added, we can also change the callbacks that are getting received during the call. So let's say a particular user mutes their microphone, a particular user drops out of the call, and you want to add a certain operation during these callbacks. So you can simply extend these particular methods that are available inside the Agora SDK and add an operation on your own. Now, let's quickly go ahead with the button customization, or the Agora video button class that we have. So to do that, the customizations that we have is, again, first of all, you obviously have customizations like height, width, padding, the location of the buttons. All that can be done. Also, one cool thing about the button customization is that it also has this auto hide feature. So let's say you are in a video call, and after a certain limit or after a certain time limit, these buttons will be hidden so that you can focus on the video call itself and not see the buttons at the bottom. All right, with that being said, I will hand over the presentation to Rishabh, who will be talking about the Android UI kit.
All right. Hi, everyone. This is Rishabh. I'm currently a superstar at Agora. So let's talk about the Android UI kit. So guess what? The Android UI kit has all kinds of customizations which are present in the UI kit, right? It works with Java and Kotlin both, which is amazing, right? All right. Next slide, please. All right. So to get started, we again follow the same pattern of the UIKit over here. We simply pass in the app ID and the token depending on your settings. And we simply join the channel, and we simply pass the channel name to the method, and we're good to go. All right. Next slide. Yeah. So the UIKit comes with two different layouts as mentioned before. Currently, as you can see, that grid layout and floating layout, right? So both are extremely cool, and depending on your use case, you can use either. All right, next. And yeah, so there are a bunch of customizations over here. Whenever, let's say, a user has muted themselves, so mute icon comes up, and guess what? You can change the color of that icon as well, and that is precisely what is being shown over here. Next slide. And here we have a demo of a sample application which we have made so that you can understand how the UIKit works and how simple it is to integrate with any of your applications which you make. So what we have done here is basically made a lobby where people can find out online users and choose to request them to come in a video call. We are using RTM and UIKit for this. All right, next slide. So you can see three screens over here. Firstly, when you open the app, you can put your name and join the lobby, right? As soon as you join the lobby, you get all the online users. And when you press on that call button, you see next to each user that effectively sends a request. So what we're trying to show here is this is how easy it is to integrate Agora's products, especially the UIKit, with any of the applications you make. Next slide. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So let's say you pressed on some user's call button, right? And so we get a request that the user gets a request over here, and the user may choose to decline or accept. If the user accepts, then guess what? We get on a video call with that user. Next slide. And yeah, here it is. So the moment the user presses the accept button, you get on a video call and see the normal UIKit screen of the Agora's video call. And this is amazing. I mean, that's how easy, that literally very easy to integrate in any of the applications. Next. So over here, we'll show a bunch of customizations which you can do depending on your use cases with the Agora UIKit. Next. So let's break it down. Obviously, at start, you have to supply your app token, which you get from the Agora's console, and the app ID. Over here, the main difference is we, along with these, add something called Agora settings, which will show you, which we'll see in the next slide. So firstly, you have to define the layout which you want. By default, we use the floating layout, but yeah, over here we have chosen the grid layout. All right, next. So here comes the fun, right? So over here, we can change the button color, we can change the button holder's opacity, and we can also change the mic's color, the muted mic's color, right? As we have seen before. All right, next. And okay, first of all, try to see there's a new button popping out altogether, right? There's this star shaped button. Yeah. So you might be wondering, where did this come from? So this is nothing. This is just something called Agora button, which we have used over here. You add a button background, you add some colors to it, and just using such less piece of code, you can add a button and add some functionality to it. So that's how amazing this is. All right, next. Okay, so since Agora has been closely in touch with GDSC VIT long time ago. Next. So starting with the Agora Superstar. So I'll share my personal experience because I'm myself a superstar, right? So what I mainly do is I develop content for Agora. I work on super cool projects, like seriously cool projects with other members who are actually working right now in Agora, like Meher, like Kanch. And also I get them mentorship and they guide me through these projects or whatever I do. All right. I guess that sums up. I think Meher will talk about this now.
All right, thank you so much. So yeah, with that being summed up, I'm just going to quickly brush up on the hackathon that we will be present. That is the Women Techies, and the problem statement that we have shared is basically building a real-time engagement application with a now moment. So what does that exactly mean? So having any sense of real-time engagement, building a platform with video calling or building any live video streaming application that can have certain innovation to it, that's something that we will be looking from this particular hackathon. And obviously Ikansh, Rishabh and I, we all will be present during the time of the hackathon as well, and as well as the Agora team will be present to help you out during this particular hack. So for that particular stuff, we also have this Discord channel. So I would request you guys to join this particular channel and have a look at it. We have all the stuff laid out over there for you. So if you need any kind of material, be it the UI kits, the documentation, where you can read about the documentation, where you can read about the UI kit, how to integrate it, all that stuff. And also, as Rishabh mentioned, the opportunities with the Agora Superstar and other programs like All Stars and Student Ambassadors. If you are interested in that, there's also a link for that in the same Discord channel itself. So you can join that particular channel and have a look at it.
And just to add on to that, like we'll be hanging out in the Discord channel as well. Like if you have questions, if you're stuck somewhere, if you need inspiration for ideas for your hackathon, we're super excited to listen to what you're building and try to help you as much as we can with all of these things. I think someone in the chat says that the Discord link got expired, so maybe we can put a new link up in the comments. I think Meher is going to do that, so that should get fixed. But other than that, like we're super excited to like see what you guys build with Agora, and just if you have any questions in terms of how to do this or how is this possible, we'd love to answer those for you. I'm quickly going to open the comments on YouTube to see if there's something that we haven't answered yet. Sai asks, is it possible to use Tailwind in the component like in React? It is possible. So there's an example of using modules inside the UIKit to put your app together. So you can use a framework like Tailwind to use those classes, but I wouldn't expect a lot of people to do that because uh, we give you the layout, and if there's something you want to do, like we'd expect you to do those customizations by overriding the CSS, at least for basic apps. But if you're building like a super complex app with like just a completely different UI, then you're most welcome to like take apart a bunch of final modules like the video viewers, the buttons, and then completely put them together in like your own way. So that definitely is possible, but it's not like a super common use case. We'd expect you to like go through. Someone asked about the Unity SDK. So we have Unity SDK. If you go to the website, there's one that's being used by a lot of developers to make really cool things, and being used for XR, being used for AR, VR, even being used for some video games for communication. So yeah, we have a really robust Unity SDK. There's a bunch of examples on our GitHub, so be sure to check those out as well. Someone asks, is there a Android Jetpack Compose SDK for Agora? Maybe Meher can answer that better.
Yeah, so basically, since Jetpack Compose is just a framework, you can use the same SDK that's there. So even the project that Rishabh just showed, that is the face chat, was actually built using the Jetpack Compose itself. So we used the UIKit, we added the UIKit components to the face chat, the Jetpack Compose UI, and integrated video calling using that. So if you are interested, there is a link for the face chat application in the Discord itself, so you can have a look at that as well.
And I think the source code for that is available on GitHub as well, right?
Yes, it is there.
So you can go through that example, see how it works with Jetpack Compose, and I'm sure you'll make it work. Mehed, are we good on posting the link for Discord, or is that something I can go ahead and do for you?
I shared, right? Can you guys see it?
Let's see. If you can send on the private chat, I'm sure one of the organizers can put it on the stream, and I can paste it in the YouTube comments as well. If you have any questions, we're here for like another few minutes. We can answer any questions right now. If not, we can always reach out to us on Discord, and we'll be happy to take you through it. I see a bunch of fire emojis in the comments. I take that there's not much questions other than that. So I think we have the Discord link, so I'm just going to quickly post it. Yep, we see it on the stream, and we're going to post it on YouTube as well. Put it in the comments for this live stream. So if you're watching this after the stream is ended, like please take a look in the comments, and there should be a link in the description or in the comments somewhere. We'll put these as well. Awesome. So that's pretty much it from our side. Thank you so much for joining and taking out the time to go through all of this with us. See you guys in the Discord. I think someone's asking for the GitHub link. We'll also post that in the comments, and we'll also add it to the description. So it's github.com/agoraio-community. But we'll add a link so that it's easier for everyone. Let me type it out. Cool. That should be in the comments now. Thanks everyone. Bye bye. See you next time.